reminiscent of the way she vigorously combed the nooks and crannies of Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones to galvanize Nigerian women to support her husband in the 2011 presidential elections, which recorded a monumental success. The First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dame Patience Goodluck Jonathan, Mama Peace, was in Awka, the Anambra State capital, this time on a strictly humanitarian cause. Dame Patience Jonathan was there to launch the Southeast Zone of the Widows Empowerment Program. Women from the Southeast states of Abia, Anambra, Enugu, Ebonyi, and Imo, led by the wives of the governors of these states, turned out in unprecedented numbers to heartily welcome Dame Patience Jonathan and her entourage. Those who accompanied the First Lady included the wife of the Deputy Senate President, Mrs. Ekwere Madu, wives of service chiefs, female ministers, some female members of the National Assembly, namely Honorable Uche Ekwenife, Mrs. Raleigh Oduah, wife of Delta State Governor, was in Anambra State to give support and solidarity to the First Lady and her fellow colleagues, wives of governors from the Southeast states. Also in attendance at the Widows Empowerment Program, spearheaded by Nigeria's First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, was Ambassador Dr. Mrs. Kema Chikwe, the woman leader of the People's Democratic Party. The chief host of the gathering, the Executive Governor of Anambra State, Chief Willie Obiano, was supported by his deputy and a number of illustrious sons and daughters from the southeast of Nigeria. They were led by the Deputy Speaker of Nigeria's House of Representatives, Honorable Emeka Ihedioha. Others were Senator Andy Oba, Senator Hope Uzodimma, Senator Naji, Senator Ben Obi, Senator Annie Okonkwo, Mr. Ifeanyi Uba, and Minister of Labour and Productivity, Chief Emeka Wogo. Also in attendance were Chief Victor Ume. From Nigeria's House of Representatives were Honorable Nkiru Onyejacha and Honorable Uche Ekwenife. The traditional institution from the Southeast Zone were then the Legion to give a royal welcome to the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, who is the holder of the prestigious traditional chieftaincy title of Ada Diorama of Dunukofia Ancient Kingdom in Anambra State of Nigeria. Other female political office holders from the Southeast Zone and its adjoining areas were in Awka, Anambra State to support the First Lady. These included Professor Viola Onwuliri, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, and Dr. Mrs. Mariam Amadu Ali, who is a special advisor to President Jonathan on intergovernment affairs. The different chapters of the Women for Change initiative from the Southeast states were at the Widows Empowerment Program in Awka, Anambra State. They were led by the national coordinators of the different areas. A special mention must be made of the great effort of Prince Dr. Engineer Arthur Eze, OFR, over the years through his many philanthropic endeavors to give succor and assistance to widows in Anambra State and other parts of Nigeria. In fact, Prince Dr. Arthur Eze has a foundation that caters solely to alleviate the plight of widows in Anambra State. The Widows Empowerment Program is indeed a bold step in the right direction, and there couldn't have been a more appropriate place to launch the program than the Southeast Zone of Nigeria, where women who lose their husbands are made to go through excruciatingly dehumanizing treatment, which keeps them in somewhat perpetual state of depression and hopelessness so many years after they must have lost their husbands. The Widows Empowerment Program, launched by the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, will therefore go a long way to restore the hope of these set of Nigerians and give them a new lease of life. Those who spoke at the launch of the Widows Empowerment Program, championed by Nigeria's First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, and hugely supported by Prince Dr. Engineer Arthur Eze, OFR, the philanthropist for excellence, commended the initiative, for which they gave the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, a huge pat on the back. In fact, they went ahead to advise that more stringent laws should be put in place to protect the rights of women who are made to go through untold hardship when they suffer the misfortune of losing their husbands. Those who ventilated their opinions on the vexed issue of the barbaric and uncivilized treatment meted out to Nigerian women, especially in the Southeast states when they lose their husbands, included Engineer Arthur Eze, the wife of Delta State Governor, Reverend Raleigh Oduah, wife of the host governor, Mrs. Ebere Obiano, wife of Deputy Senate President Mrs. Ekweremadu, PDP National Women Leader Ambassador Dr. Kema Chukwe, the host governor, Chief Willie Obiano, and of course, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Emeka Ihedioha.
Then I went to Jonathan. So what shall we do to all these widows? I went to the wife. The wife told me to go and look for you. The wife asked me to look for you. Oh, Jonathan's wife told me to go and look for the widows. So she can take care of you when we are still alive. Mommy, we thank you for coming once more to visit us. We thank you for coming to appreciate our people. We thank you for coming to associate with the widows of the Southeast Zone.
But I must tell you that then President Goodluck Jonathan, in her few years of becoming the First Lady of Federal Republic of Nigeria, have been able to empower thousands and thousands and thousands of Nigerian women. I must also tell you, I'm not here to bore you, but I must tell you that in the area of health, Her Excellency, then Dr. President Goodluck Jonathan, have been able to deliver. You have empowered a lot of women. You have empowered women, especially in Ebonyi State. Ebonyi State will always remain grateful to you because with your program, we have gone far in empowering the women. You have lifted the women up. You have shown the women that politics is also for women. You have shown us that women has a place in politics by giving us 35% affirmative. We want to thank you, women. You have done a lot in Nigeria, in less privilege, in women, in widows, everywhere.
So I want to thank our mom for all that he has been doing. A lot of us in our states, we have borrowed you from her, from everything he has been doing. Mama, God will bless you, and God will bless our Father on the throne. The God of heaven will give him wisdom.
Mama has blazed a trail that we must all follow to create a better world for our women and children. We must also thank the great son of Anambra State, Chief Engineer Ato Eze, whose uncommon philanthropy and vision has brought us together here today.
As for Enugu State, Mama, when you go home, you shouldn't use a sleep because Enugu is fanatical for Jonathan. And so, we are promising that we will deliver come 2015 by the grace of God. Salute you today for specially singling out widows in the Southeast, because you know what widowhood means to us in our culture. But today, you have decided to lift them up. I thank you, my sister.
This outing this afternoon shows and supports the great initiative of the First Lady of Federal Republic of Nigeria for caring for the women, the needy, and the poor. She's done exceptionally well, and that's why we are supporting her.
Some widows were also given the rare opportunity to use the platform of the launch of the Widows Empowerment Program to draw the attention of the wider public to the problems they have been facing over the years as widows, and pleaded for support from members of the public and the government. They all collectively expressed their profound gratitude to Dame Patience Jonathan for coming to their aid at the time when all hope seemed lost.
Word of God on Proverbs 26, verse 27 on their behalf. Anybody that will dig a pit against you shall fall into that pit. Mama, peace. The widows from the southeast of our great country, Nigeria, are saying, we are by your side.
In the remarks of the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, she brought fraternal greetings from President Goodluck Jonathan to all Nigerian women, assuring them that the present administration considers Nigerian women as a strategic component in the formulation of the policies and programs of government, promising that the target of the Jonathan administration is to surpass the 35% affirmative action for women to see that Nigerian women will take their rightful place in the scheme of things in the country. Dame Patience Jonathan went ahead to announce special gift items for the widows, like sewing machine, industrial machine, and so on. This is in addition to monetary gifts to the widows. According to the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, this is her own modest effort to reduce the heavy burden and responsibilities they have been shouldering single-handedly, taking care of the home front in the absence of the breadwinners of their different families.
Well, today, it's true we have come to celebrate the widows. We have come to give them a love, little token, but at the same time to sympathize with them. It's not a day we should really talk about widows, because if we now start talking about widows, we won't go today. Some people don't want to hear deaths with their ear. If you mention deaths, they will say, you want to kill me? You want to kill me and take my property? How will I kill you and take your property? That's your property. Which property pass your husband? Your husband is always your head. When the head is out, you are left empty. What is property? Property cannot buy a husband to you. When you lost your husband, you have lost everything, eventually everything. There is no life in you again. You are half dead. You are just living. The carcass is just there. Because when you remember, even in the night, you have a problem. Even if your child is sick, your child wants to go to school, you look for somebody to discuss with, and nobody is there, it's only pillow. Can pillow be a human being? No. Such a painful experience. Nobody to share your pains with you. If you are sick, nobody to say, my head is paining me, please take me to hospital. It's only you alone. It's an experience we should never wish our worst enemy.
With this bold humanitarian gesture to give the much-needed succor to the widows, which has been greatly appreciated by all well-meaning people across the world, Nigeria's First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, has notched up enormous goodwill capital for herself among Nigerian women, who constitute a major and critical component when it comes to deciding who sits in the driver's seat at the very apex of governance in our country. Nigerian women will indeed pay back this great gesture at the appropriate time. Dame Patience Jonathan, who was conferred with the highest traditional chieftaincy title of Ukpo Kingdom when her husband, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, was still the vice president, and therefore a very respected member of the Igwe Council, paid a courtesy visit to the Igwe of Dunukofia, His Royal Majesty Igwe, to pay him special homage.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. The Lord be with you. Almighty and eternal God, we thank you for this wonderful evening as we gather here at the palace of Dunukofia, the 6th of April. As we are privileged to have before us the First Lady of our country. We thank you for bringing her safely here and for having touched the lives of so many of our widows and people like that. We also thank you for the gift of our country, Nigeria, our president, our governor, and all those who are piloting the affairs of this country. Be with them, suspend them, give them the grace and the strength to do this work. We thank you also for the gift of our brother and son, Eze Dunukpo, Engineer Eze, our big philanthropist who has been helping our poor people, touching their lives. Continue to bless him. Bless all of us who are here. May we continue to use whatever you have given us as we watch for our own individual goods. We work for the good of our country that are coming together today here we continue to extend our effort to be for the common good of our country and faith. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
What did I do? I'm not going to put that. Oh, yes. Come on, I'm going to do it. I took on the other thing. I can't go to the other just to do
Dame Patience Jonathan, who spoke in Igbo language throughout, thanked Igbo people profoundly for the massive support they have been giving President Goodluck Jonathan, whom he described as an adopted son of the Igbo people, since he became president of Nigeria. Dame Patience Jonathan said, as a precious granddaughter of Igbo people, Nwanwa, she'll make sure that the Igbo nation occupies its richly deserving place in the political equation of Nigeria. In her remarks at the palace of the monarch of Dunokofia in Anambra State, the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, was full of praises for Dr. Arthur Eze, who is the younger brother of the monarch of Okpo Kingdom in Dunokofia local government area. This is for the great assistance Engineer Dr. Arthur Eze has been rendering to both the president and the ordinary Nigerians, saying that Prince Dr. Arthur Eze is indeed a worthy son of Igbo land, of whom the Jonathan family and Nigerians in general should be very proud.
My big brother, my husband brother, a father who has brought us here. Without him, I won't be here. Prince Arthur Eze, my big brother. Thank you for bringing me to Anambra State.
Dame Patience Goodluck Jonathan ended her one-day visit to Anambra State with a courteous visit to Prince Arthur Eze's home before she left for Abuja. We reliably gather that the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, will be in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, on the 14th of October 2014 to launch another empowerment program for women in the Southwest Zone